Today I am telling a personal story that I have crafted for your listening pleasure. So on January 3rd, 2021, earlier this year, on January 3rd, I woke up and I was very disappointed because I didn't feel any different. I was really hoping that I would feel different that morning, but I didn't. And I was hoping that I would feel different because I had lived in America longer than I had lived in Pakistan. And I thought that that would make me feel different. Now, exactly 28 years ago, I had been standing in line at the Quaid-e-Azam International Airport in Karachi, waiting for my turn to come to go through passport control. And the line was really long, but I didn't mind because I was coming to the land of the free and the home of the brave. And I was so excited. And sure enough, coming to America and living in America has given me so many freedoms. And in the beginning, those freedoms were so simple. Something like being able to go out at night without having a male chaperone. Because in Pakistan, while I was living there, even as an adult, there were so many places at night after dark that I wasn't allowed to go out by myself unless there was a male companion or a chaperone. And some of the places, even during the day, I wasn't allowed to go by myself without a male companion. And sometimes that male companion was my cousin who was 4 years younger than me. And some of those places that we weren't allowed to go even during the day were places like the movie theater or even like the police station, which is, supposed to be the safest place to be. But anyway, after a few years I had been living in America and enjoying these freedoms, I went back to Karachi, Pakistan, to visit my mother. And this is in 1995, when you traveled, you still carried American Express traveler's checks. So the day after I arrived in Karachi, I went to the American Express bank to cash some of my traveler's checks. And I parked and I walked across, got my traveler's checks cashed. And when I came back, I got back into my car, and just about as I was going to pull out, a cop on a motorcycle came up and parked his motorcycle right in front of my car, so I couldn't proceed. And he came up to my window and he said, license and registration. And I had my international driver's license, so I gave it to him. Now, what had happened, and my friends told me later, is they reminded me that in Karachi at that time, people didn't carry their original driver's license, especially exactly because of this. You carried a colored copy of your driver's license. I'd completely forgotten about that. And then, so when the cop asked me for my driver's license, I handed him my original international driver's license. And then I asked him, why have you stopped me? And he said, Bibi, आप पढ़ी लिखी हैं, आपको पता होना चाहिए कि यहाँ पार्क नहीं कर सकते. He said, Miss, you look like you can read and write, so you should know that you can't park here. And I looked around and there was no parking sign there. So I was like, what am I supposed to read? I mean, there's nothing to read. How do I know that I can't park here? But I knew also that if I argued with him, that would make things worse. So I said, look, I didn't know, I'm really sorry, but can you please give me my license back? And he said, no, I'm going to have to give you a ticket and confiscate your driver's license, and you'll have to come back. You'll have to come next day to the police station and retrieve your driver's license. And this is when I turned on my Pakistani tears. And I squeezed some tears out of my eyes and I said, but I don't have a brother and my father has passed away. I can't come to the police station by myself. And he felt bad and he said, fine, gave me a warning and told me, don't do it next time. And I was able to retrieve my driver's license and drive home. my friends definitely teased me a lot about that and said, oh my gosh, you've become so American that you actually handed your driver's license to the car. On that same trip, the day before I was leaving, as is customary, a friend of mine came to visit me and she brought me a gift, as is customary. And I right away got to opening the gift, as is customary here in America. And I could not understand why my friend who had brought me the gift had this shocked look on her face. And when I looked across to my sister, she was glaring at me with these eyes that they could have burned through me, they would have set me on fire. I just couldn't get it. And then when my friend left, my sister laid into me. She's like, you have no manners. How could you? Couldn't you wait for 5 minutes? You've become so American. What I had forgotten is that in Pakistan, it is customary to wait till afterwards to open the gifts. You don't open them in front of the person who's just given them to you. So obviously, my friends and family believed that I was American, but I didn't feel different. And I thought, maybe once I become a citizen, then I will feel different. So in September of 2003, I was at the courthouse in Hartford, Connecticut, ready to take my oath. I was wearing red colored capris, a white shirt, and a blue vest. And my friends and my family were there to witness me taking the oath of allegiance and becoming a naturalized citizen. And with becoming a naturalized citizen, now I had the freedom to travel around the world without a visa, except for some countries. And yes, Pakistan became one of the countries that I now needed a visa to travel to. But after the celebrations of that day and excitement and being with my family, the next day I didn't feel any different. And I thought to myself, well, this is, I've enjoyed the freedoms of living in America, but now it is my turn to exercise my rights and my duties as an American. And maybe when I get a chance to do that, I will feel different. So the very next year, I had the opportunity to vote in the general election. And as a minority growing up in Pakistan, and even as an adult, I did not have the right to vote in the general election. You can only vote for your representative as a minority. So I was really excited to have this right and be able to exercise my duty to do that. But at in 2004, I was back in Pakistan in November, and I wasn't able to vote. And I thought, okay, next time, when I'm able to vote the next time, I'm going to feel different. And fast forward, now it is 2008, and again, I have the opportunity to vote. But again, because of the situation that I was in, I had to vote through mail-in ballot. And that was such an anticlimax. And I thought, well, maybe that's why I don't feel different. Maybe that is, if I had actually gone and stood in line, I would have felt different. And then I thought, maybe it's because I've lived in Pakistan longer than I've lived in America, and maybe that's why I don't feel different. So on January 3rd of 2021, it was 28 years that I'd lived in America, 1 year more than I'd lived in Pakistan. And I was sure that when I woke up that morning, I would feel different. So I was so disappointed that when I woke up and I felt the same. And then only 3 days later, on January 6th, 2021, everything changed. As I sat on my couch, watching the scenes unfold of what was happening in Washington, D.C., everything changed for me. I felt what only an American could have felt that day. God bless America, the land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. from the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Well done, Di. Beautifully done.
Thanks, Nawaz. Thank you.
Lovely story. Glad to hear it.
Thanks, Andy.
As always, very nice.
Thanks, Maruki. Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed
We did.
my personal story, my personal travels and journey.
It's wonderful. Thank you, Dinah.
Thanks. So good to see you, Mina. Well, thank you again for spending your afternoon with me. And as I said, I'll be back August 8th, and I hope to see you all then.
Hope to see you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Dinah.
Thanks, Maruki. See you.
See you. Take care.